Presented by
Cuervo Andrés,
García Alejandro,
Gómez Erika,
Muñoz Dani,
Perdomo Stephany,
Preciado Jennifer,
Suárez Nieves,
Valderrama Natalia.
Varón Oscar.
In the present video, the inquiry-based method is to be tackled in terms of its origins, definition, its importance and helpfulness, its principles, its types, the steps yielded within it, the disadvantages, along with some authors that stand both for and against this inquiry-based method. Let's take a look.
Inquiry-based method. What's inquiry? Inquiry is any process which aims to resolving doubt, solving a problem, augment knowledge.
This technique appeared during the discovery learning movement in 1960 as a different choice traditional forms of instruction. Its antecedents begins with a viewpoint about the nature of knowledge theories based on approach to education, such as the work and principle of Piaget, Dewey, Vygotsky, and Freire, among others. On the part of Dewey's experimental and the most relevant concept, learning pedagogy, that is, learning through experiences, involves the learner energetically participating in personal or authentic experiences to make connotations from it.
When trying to conceive the concept of IBL technique, we can start saying that inquiry is defined as the seeking of truth, information, or knowledge. The process of inquiry is presented since our birth until our death. Children use inquiry to understand their world when they use their senses to recognize physical environment. That is why inquiry is a natural process in the human being. The technique itself is based on our human curiosity. It is about triggering students' interest for knowledge. Once they are curious, they are capable of making questions about new issues while they are gaining knowledge and understanding.
This technique has some good aspects that benefit learners. As students are discussing about a specific issue, they're improving their speaking skill. Moreover, thanks to the curiosity that is developed, students may learn not only what they have to, also they may learn what they want to learn. And in addition, they may learn new things rather than learning about things. Besides, as they are reflecting about that specific issue, their critical thinking skill is activated in order to go beyond the problem, and at the same time, they are motivated to investigate and collect arguments that may help in their position or point of view.
When referring to the principles of IBL technique, we can mention four. The first one places the learner at the center of the learning process, and the elements called systemic, such as teacher, instructional resources, technology, are adequately organized to support them. The second principle refers to the information processing skills and how these should be the ones in which all learning activities should be focused on. It means from observation to synthesis. The next principle presents the role of the teacher or instructor as the learning process facilitator. The teacher also becomes a learner by finding out more about learners as such and the process of inquiry-based learning. Lastly, when assessing, IBL establishes that the emphasis should be placed on factors as evaluating the development of information processing skills, conceptual understanding, and nurtured habits of mind, rather than just the content of the field.
The following are the four different types of IBL that exist. The first one is the confirmation inquiry. In confirmation inquiry, people are provided with the question and procedure, it means the method, where the results are known in advance. And confirmation of the result is the object of this inquiry. The second inquiry is structure. In a structured inquiry, people are provided with the question and procedure. However, the task is to generate an explanation that is supported by the evidence collected during the procedure. The third one is the guide inquiry. Here, people are provided with the only research, and the task is to design the procedure and to test the question and the resulting explanations. And finally, there is the open inquiry. Here, people form their own questions, design procedures for carrying out an inquiry, and communicate their results.
What does ILP look like in the classroom? According to Warners and Myers, these are the following stages. The first one is inquisition. This stage is aimed to motivate students' curiosity. Therefore, teaching can start the class by formulating questions, problems, or situations. But remember, students can also be an active part by formulating their own questions, which can be reformulated along the class. The second one is acquisition, in which students explore possible ideas and predict possible solutions and procedures. Supposition is the stage where a possible solution or idea is selected to be tested and then implemented. During the whole class, students should collect the evidence and ideas to reach a conclusion. This stage is called summation, and it requires the student to analyze, compare, and interpret the information. Finally, everybody shared their results or ideas. New questions can arise, but it doesn't matter because this can be used for a new investigation.
Disadvantages. As with all processes of learning, there are limitations that inquiry-based learning has due to its specific nature. First, assessing the students who are conducting inquiry-based learning can be very difficult, as all students can take their investigations to new places and go above and beyond the expected requirements. It is thus essential that students are given a rubric that can guide their learning and help them determine how successful they will be in their investigations. Second, in conducting an inquiry-based investigation, teachers should be very prepared to meet students' needs during the investigation, which involves a lot of preparation and planning time. Third, students need to become active learners during inquiry-based learning, and students with a lack of self-discipline may struggle greatly. In this respect, it is suggested that teachers monitor all students during the investigations, ensuring students are staying on task and are heading in the right direction. Fourth, lack of the resources to implement this method successfully. Fifth, anxiety over incorrect outcomes that might come from an experiment. To combat these problems, it is recommended that teachers provide teacher control while encouraging motivation for active inquiry-based learning. It is also essential that the learning directly relates to students and their current role to foster more motivation for the inquiry being studied.
Throughout the years, some authors have taken both a position for and against the inquiry-based method. One of these authors who is against the inquiry-based method happens to be Ronald D. Anderson. He poses some questions regarding the effectiveness and usefulness this inquiry-based method can pose for the teaching and learning context. The first question is, does the inquiry teaching produce positive results? In general, research shows that inquiry teaching produces positive results. But while research says inquiry teaching can produce positive results, it does not by itself. It merely tells teachers exactly how to do it. The second question is, what barriers and dilemmas are connected with inquiry teaching? Teachers need to learn how to teach constructively. acquire new assessment competences, learn new teaching roles, learn how to put students in new roles, and foster new forms of student work. This task must be addressed in the political and cultural context of the schools in which teachers work. The third and final question Anderson poses regarding this matter is: how can teachers be helped in using inquiry teaching? Research indicates that teachers focus on what works in terms of student involvement or classroom management, rather than on melding theory and practice. Teachers anchor their understanding in classroom events and base it on stories and narratives more than on theories and propositional knowledge. In other words, theory, beliefs, values, and understandings are of critical importance in the process of teachers acquiring an inquiry approach to teaching, but one should not expect to address them in isolation from a practical context or expect that they will be addressed directly as mental constructs.
Now let's talk about the person who stands for the inquiry-based method. Scardamelia 2002 states that inquiry-based learning is an approach to teaching and learning that places students' questions, ideas, and observations at the center of the learning experience. Educators play an active role throughout the process by establishing a culture where ideas are respectfully challenged, tested, redefined, and viewed as improbable, moving children from a position of wondering to a position of innate understanding and further questioning.